this week been for you?
This has been a very difficult week. The tragic news coming out of Uvalde, Texas, has brought my family and the others right back to that terrible day in February, over 4 years ago, when we learned that our daughter Gina, a bright and bubbly freshman, is now our forever 14-year-old girl, was murdered at her school, along with 13 of her classmates and 3 of her teachers.
And Ryan, what about you?
I'm absolutely appalled. Every time that this happens, every time that somebody is injured or killed due to gun violence in this country, it's an absolute tragedy, especially when it involves such young children. I'm just absolutely devastated after the week's events, absolutely re-traumatized from the experiences that I had, seeing the reunification centers, seeing the failures of local PD throughout the process. It's just really bringing me back to my personal experience from those fateful days back in Parkland.
And Ryan, you posted a video of some of your experience when you were inside the school waiting for police to stop the gunman. And of course, we're following the news this week that it took police a long time in Texas to get inside that school. What was the wait like for you that day?
It was absolutely terrifying. I, along with 19 students and the teacher, were in the school journalism department. We were hiding in a closet, not knowing if we were going to live or die for a period of roughly 3 hours. Although the shooting happened across campus and did not nearly take that long, the lockdown procedures took much longer throughout the day. And then that reunification process, of course, taking much longer throughout the period that the shooting transpired in Parkland and the period that transpired in Uvalde. It mirrors each other. And it's sad to see every time that this happens, it's an absolute tragedy.
Tony, I know this is a complex question, and we don't have a lot of time, but you've given a lot of thought to what your country needs to do to try to address the problem. Perhaps you can give our audience maybe 1 or 2 examples of changes you'd like to see.
Sure. So Stand With Parkland was founded by the families who lost someone in the Parkland massacre. We realized that things need to change. So we got together and we promote school safety through the school safety triad. Securing the campus, better mental health screening and support programs, and finally, if you choose to own one, responsible firearms ownership. We've seen many changes happen here in the state of Florida. We've also know there's more work to do. We've seen changes in other parts of the country, but again, there's more work to do. One of the things that's available to us is the red flag law. That gives someone who's deemed to be a threat to themselves or others due process. And once they're determined to be that threat, they must surrender their weapons to law enforcement. This allows them to get help and keeps the rest of us safe. Another bill that's available is the Eagles Act, named after the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School mascot. That would provide additional funding to the U.S. Secret Service and its National Threat Assessment Center so that they could continue their research into stopping school shootings and then take their product that they've done and take it out to the local school districts so they can help identify people who exhibit concerning behavior and then get them the help they need long before they resort to violence. These are 2 proactive tools that we need to use in this country.
Ryan, as you hear that, what's your reaction?
Well, those certainly sound agreeable, and of course, with any research behind these methods, I'm all in favor of anything that would reduce gun violence, anything that is proactive, and anything that interrupts and disrupts our gun violence epidemic. Whether in schools, and schools are certainly an area that must be addressed. It's an absolute travesty that we have failed to address it after Sandy Hook and after so many other tragedies. It's just something that I think needs to happen. Is I truly believe that this President Biden, can create a national office of gun violence prevention can provide more executive office that actually addresses gun violence on an around-the-clock basis, as opposed to just responding to shootings after they happen. I believe that we should be addressing mental health. We should be addressing access to weapons. We should be ensuring that we are disarming domestic abusers and white supremacists. And I definitely agree with the statements on extreme risk protection orders, red flag laws. I've seen them work in many instances. I've seen them be used to keep people safe. We need to be ensuring that that's in every single state in the union and passed federally as well.
We have just a minute left. And Ryan, I mean, we can see the upside down American flag behind you. What does that symbolize?
It symbolizes distress. I hung it up that way many months ago due to other tragedies and other travesties that our nation has faced, certainly throughout the pandemic. And it's just a symbol to remind myself every day that things are unwell and we need to get ourselves right side up.
And Tony, if you had a chance to speak to the parents in Uvalde, what would you say to them given your experience?
I would say just try and keep breathing. Try and find the strength to move on hour by hour. Never forget your loved ones who were murdered at that school. And take care of yourselves. Lean on your friends and your families. It's the only way to get through it.
Heartbreaking to see the picture of your daughter over your shoulder, and we do appreciate both of you speaking to us on what's been a difficult week. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
For people with hearing problems,